Hello, thanks again for joining my channel. My name is Hakeem Mustafa, and today I'll be talking about immigrating to Canada. Some of the things I came to Canada in 2018. So when I arrived in 2018, there are a few things that I I wished that I had known about before landing. So if I had gotten, some of those skills, if I'd learned them from Nigeria, perhaps they would have been very beneficial to me. They would have helped me to settle in quicker or quickly or easily, even help me to save some money or begin to make some money, when I arrived. So I arrived from Nigeria. Um, I came in with, the required money and, some extra money for myself, but there's nothing like, spending, the exchanged money, So for example, if you want to buy something and they tell you it's $30, then you calculate it with, your local currency exchange rate. And then you find out how much it is, you begin to wonder, wow, should I drop this thing or not? But you need these things, you have to take them. So it's nothing like you're getting, paid with the local currency. And then you're buying those things. Your purchasing power, your confidence would be better. You feel more at ease, that's, it's the local currency, you're not converting it with the money you brought in from home, or from your home country. So yeah, so let's go. I'm just be sharing two skills that I think would have helped me, or go three skills that would have helped me if I knew some of this, or perhaps if my wife knew some of these skills, would have maybe probably helped us to settle in very, very well. So yeah, thanks again for joining. If this is your first time, we advise that you hit the like button, you share, and you subscribe, so that you can get more informative videos like this. All right, let's go. So my number one skill that I think about, that if I would have gotten early, is fashion designing and tailoring. So yeah, it's as funny as that, but I tell you, I've spent a whole lot of money, going to the tailors to do just little amendments, or little fixing, adjustments of my trousers, sometimes adjustments of the shirts. I recently got some pairs of jeans, and I took just a little longer than myself, so I have to I was folding before, and I thought about, no, let me just adjust it. In Nigeria or back home, it's so easy, you just call the local tailor, so you just see the guys walking on the street and you just call and give them some few cash, and they're so excited, sometimes I even give them some extras, and then they do the menu, it's super fine, and I'm off. But here, it's expensive, sometimes even as expensive as the clothes you're buying itself. That's how expensive it can be. So sometimes you could have some new clothing and they're just there in the wardrobe. You can't wear them because you're thinking about the costs of mending or adjusting, and you're thinking of, so you have to spend money to do this. So you can imagine if you have this skill or you've learned this skill, and over here in Canada, you don't need a license, you don't need any other formal training to be a tailor or to be a fashion designer. You could even do it in your house. You could do it in your garage. You could do it in your basement. You could do it in your own room. You could have your machine there, and people come and you sew for them, or you go meet them, you take their measurements, you sew in your house and give it to them, or they come and they take the measurement in your place and you sew it for them and you give it to them. So you could make cool cash from it. People pay you cool cash. And all this, a lot of people are looking for them. You arrive, you know the skills, you go to WhatsApp groups, where you have, your people. I'm from Nigeria, you could have WhatsApp, we have a lot of WhatsApp groups, announce that you're here, you know how to, you're very good you have very good tailoring skills. And people begin to reach out to you, if you could even sew the local attires, local Nigerian designs, you would make a whole lot of money. So, and even when you begin to do this, and you get a job, so what I'm saying is you do this before you get a job, right? Because sometimes when you land, your eyes, become open and you it's not easy to get some jobs. Some people are very lucky; they get in the system easily, but some people may not be. And even if you get a job, you can still have this as a side hustle. You know, you never can have enough money, right? So you can have it as a side hustle. So fashion designing, tailoring is very good. Sometimes I haven't had well, I remember the last time I had an event. I was traveling to the UK from Canada to the UK. A family member was getting wedded, so my family back in Nigeria were to sew some clothes for me and my family, and they don't have our measurements, so we needed to go to a tailor to get measurement. The tailor had to charge us some money. I was shocked. I won't mention the money, but I just felt it was ridiculous. Just to take my measurement, you're charging this amount of money. And even before we found the tailor, we had to go through. We went to some Nigerian stores, went asked around before we were able to get this person. So you see how difficult and how tough it was for us to get one. So you can imagine what you'll be making coming with such skills over here. The second skill that I would think about, I would advise you to begin to learn, even though if you have tried to brush up the skills, if you're a barber, if you know how to cut a male hair, or even female hair, if you know how to cut, and if you know how to do hairdressing, and also a makeup for people, it's a skill that you make good money here. You make cool cash. So I have a friend, or I know a friend that goes to homes. He just drives. He recently arrived. He announced on groups, and people started reaching out to him. He drives to their house, give them professional cut, beautiful cuts. Because for example, where I live in Burlington in Ontario. It's far from some areas where we have a lot of Nigerians living. So I have to do a lot of driving, to go look for a Nigerian hair salon. I'm not saying I can't go to the other hair salon or barber shops around me, but I've tried a few of them and I don't like the kind of haircuts they give me. So I have to go look for the local Nigerian hair salon. So if you know how to do this, or you brush up the skill, you're going to make some good money doing it. The same thing for women. My family, my wife and my kids, they want to make their hair. We begin to look around for who make the hair, who is available, who can reach. And if my wife got some skills in that, and she helps my kids, but sometimes we need to go to do some other type of some other designs, or hairdo that women like to do that my wife probably would not be able to do very well, or she's not comfortable with doing. So we pay a lot of money to these people to just to make our hair. So I would advise begin to brush up these two skills, and brush up the barbing if you know how to barbering if you know how to cut hair, and hairdressing if you know how to do that. If you don't, go to a school, get to learn it. When you come, it's going to be handy for you before you get maybe the right job. And even if you get the right job, you can do it as a side hustle. Like I said, weekends, evenings, you just give people your schedule, and you begin to make extra money for yourself. So these things are very, very two good skills that are very good. And like I said, also the makeup, you can also make up for women, make up for maybe some men also, so makeup, these things are not, there's no license for them. Although there are some schools here you can also learn, but it's easy and it's cheaper to get these skills brushed up from Nigeria, and you come with them here. So there's some other skills that I also would like to talk about, like plumbing, like being electrician, auto mechanic, painting, photography. If you have some of these skills, brush them up from Nigeria when you're coming. But for this job, like plumbing, woodwork, carpentry, auto mechanic, you need to get some licenses and training done locally here in Canada before you begin to practice, because you need to get those licenses. They are regulated professions. And also you also need maybe to get an insurance, so you make some good cool cash, because most of the jobs that are not even the white collar jobs, all hand, hand technical jobs. Even sometimes they make more money than us that go to the offices, right? So our advice, you try, to brush up these skills, learn them so that when you come, it's going to be easy for you, and help you make some cool cash. The last one I like to talk about, which most people don't talk about, and I think it's one of the things that would have helped a lot of people, a lot of our brothers, from back home, coming in to settle in or get an alternative means of income, which is really good even before they get the one that they are really looking out for, which they really maybe what they studied back home or the profession they were already working with back home is truck driving. A lot of us have not given a thought about. Some of us arrive and become Uber drivers. Some of us arrive and become taxi drivers, or even we drive our own personal cars. For example, I drive my car, for long distances to the office or to some other spots. So we love driving. Why don't you think about becoming a truck driver? It's not a very difficult thing. We have training schools, and some depends on the training school, the length of the training time, and you get your license. It's not very difficult. If you even get the license from back home, so maybe you start practicing from back home how to drive a truck, how to operate a truck, and you get the local licenses, driver's license from back home. When you come here, it could even be easier for you to be able to transition into getting the truck driving license. Is different from the regular driver's license that we have. So you have to get those licenses to be able to driving license to be able to drive a truck. There's so many. In fact, from the last report I got, I think Canada is in short of about 30,000 truck drivers across the country. It's a lot. Means the job is just readily available, waiting for you, right? It's the same I heard in the UK the last time. They had to bring in truck drivers from some other European countries, to help them in the UK to close the gap. So truck drivers, a lot of people underrate them, like we do, especially back home in Nigeria or back home in Africa. But here they make a whole lot of money. Some truck drivers could make up to $80,000 a year and make up to more than $100,000 a year. Depends on yourself and what the kind of truck you're driving, and also maybe if after driving some time you're able to save some money, you buy your truck for yourself and you'll be able to even make more money. So there are just a few things that for all the things that we have to do in Canada, you have to be patient on the road. You have to be gentle with other road users. You should know that you're sharing the road with other road users, even the poor drivers. So you should know when to be able to manage your expectation, manage your anger, manage your attitude, actually well, and manage your composure, and try to drive within the rules. It's not like maybe it is back home when some truck drivers just misbehave on the road. You have to drive within the driving rules, in Canada and even in the UK or whichever country you find yourself. But this is an option that a lot of people are not looking at, that can help a lot to just settle in when you're coming. Go begin to learn how to drive a truck from back home. So when you come, you already have a license. You show them, you get your driving history. You show it to them. You go through a driving school, of course, here, and then you get your license maybe after a few weeks. And when you have the confidence and yourself, right, you get onto the road and begin to make your money, right? So our advice, I'm not going to talk a lot about this because maybe one of these I'm going to make more research on it and share with you. But it's a good profession that a lot of people have underrated, that can easily help them to settle in quickly. Then I'm not running down Uber drivers or taxi Uber drivers or Lyft drivers, Uber Eats, skip the dishes. No, they're also very important, and they can also help you to settle in if that's what you want to do. But I'm just saying there's another option which people have ignored, the truck driving. This can really give you even much more money. and give you even much more room, you know, to take good care of yourself, settle in and take care of your families, right? And also even maybe start your own business as a truck driver. So this is my advice, you know, and these are the things that I think that you should do. But there are other things that you need to learn, you know, that way back home, some of these things we all underrate. You know, timekeeping, you know, you need to show up on time. You know, your attitude at work, you know, your work ethics, you know, your composure, you know, your communication skills, customer service skills, you know, these things you cannot, you know, you cannot drop them. You know, they're very important for you, even if you do these other services that I told you, like the hairdressing and, you know, barbering, and also the fashion or tailoring or painting, plumbing, whatever. You know, these extra skills, communication, customer service, showing up on time, you know, right attitude to work, these things would make you successful when you go into these businesses. I hope you have been able to share some of these things, and if you're coming, they can really help you. And even if you're here, you can begin to think about, you know, learning some of these skills. As maybe you're struggling with one thing or the other, you can begin to think about learning some of these skills, or thinking of becoming a truck driver, right? Yeah, so I'll be stopping on this note. Again, my name is Akeem Mustafa. Thanks for joining my channel. If you have not liked, please hit the like button, subscribe so that you can get more videos, and share with your colleagues, share with your friends, share with your family, so that a lot of people can learn, you know, from this video, and we can help each other. Thank you, and I'll see you soon. Bye.